I'm Henry, 47, a marketing strategist from Seattle. What happens when the love of your life betrays you with another man? How does it feel to plan the perfect anniversary trip, only to watch it unravel? This is my story of heartbreak, clarity, and reclaiming my own journey. Are you ready to see how it all unfolds? Welcome to Addy Story, where we share real-life stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul. Subscribe now to join our community, relax, and dive into the stories we have for you. Enjoy. He values me in ways you never will. Your dullness ruins this adventure. I'm Henry, 47, a marketing strategist in Seattle for almost 2 decades. That morning, I stood in our driveway clutching car keys as my wife Julia unleashed her cruelty, her words cutting deeper than any blade I had ever known. James loomed behind her, his presence both commanding and electric. 6'2", sun-kissed like a model, donning shades that likely exceed my car payment. He stood there, utterly unashamed. He stood there, a smug grin plastered on his face, as if he had just claimed victory. 3 months of anticipation led to this moment. Europe, 1 week, 5 nations. All her dreams laid bare before her. Every restaurant she saved on her phone, thinking I was oblivious. The Louvre awakens in the dawn's embrace, a meal by the Seine, where every moment pulses with life. The tiny vineyard in Napa Valley, a fleeting glimpse from a travel magazine, lingered in her heart. "I'm still going," she declared, tightening the strap of her designer purse, "but never with you." She had nothing with her. I thought she might have left something behind, or perhaps she needed assistance with the bags. She stood there, as if granting me a favor, justifying why another man should take the trip I had envisioned for her. 14 years together. 14 years of memories. I had always been there, always remembered, never overlooked, always aware of her transformations, whether it was a new hairstyle or a fresh purchase. I stood by her side through 2 career transformations, ignited her fitness journey. I even paid for personal training sessions, unaware of the unexpected benefits they would bring. I handed her the silk envelope, my heart racing with anticipation. "These are the itineraries," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. To my astonishment, my voice emerged steady. 2 hours until takeoff. She accepted it, her gaze averted from mine. "James has his ticket in hand. Identical journey, identical journey." It was all part of her plan. It was all planned. I secured him a seat on the plane for the trip I meticulously planned, spending the hard-earned money from my grueling 60-hour weeks to provide her with everything she desired. I nodded, climbed into my car, and drove off. She had no idea I was the one footing the bill, all through my business account. Each hotel stay, every meal planned, every exclusive guide awaits. Everything rests on my shoulders, bound to who I am, locked tight with 2-factor authentication, accessible only through my phone. As I drove away, I caught a glimpse in the rearview mirror. Them moving toward the Uber I had summoned for us. James's arm wrapped possessively around her waist. Perhaps he truly did. Yet the journey wasn't his to claim. At 33, I encountered Julia, clinging to the hope that love could overcome all. She worked at a downtown gallery, her words weaving magic around ordinary paintings, revealing hidden secrets within their frames. I'd swing by after work, drawn in by her voice, captivated by the way her hands danced as she revealed the significance of an artist. 2 years later, we said, "I do." Intimate gathering, primarily her friends. In my 20s, I lost my parents, and as work took over, I let friendships fade into silence. Julia consumed my every thought, my entire universe and reflection. I forged my marketing consultancy from the ground up. In the cramped spare bedroom of our apartment, she began with small clients, all while chasing her dream of a gallery career. As my business flourished, I took the leap to an office. As it expanded, I brought on a team. Each victory brought me closer to giving her everything. Exceptional dining experiences, memorable getaways, the house in Capitol Hill, where her heart had found a home on one of our Sunday drives. Somewhere in the silence, she shifted from art to the voids we faced. The friends who journeyed further, the couples in grand homes, the women whose husbands led them to picture-perfect places where reality fell short of the curated images online. Your endless hours became her favorite grievance. You always shy away from joy. Yet I was devoted to her. For us, each client meeting, each haunting hour spent alone at the office, each weekend, she poured her heart into creating a foundation for the life she dreamed of. I believed she got it. 6 months ago, the personal training began. "I want to rediscover my worth," she whispered. 3 intense sessions a week at a high-end gym in Bellevue. $200 each week. I felt invincible. Her smile lit up the room, and I felt a rush of relief. Then the extended sessions began. The coffee meetings after a workout, the new clothes, crafted to flaunt her transformation. The whispers she'd share behind closed doors. Whispers of training schedules and nutrition plans hang heavy in the air. I began to see. She had become mysterious about her phone. Her face would ignite at the sound of those notifications. She began weaving James into her words, brief remarks on his journeys, his reflections, his love for the exquisite. James claims European hotels are worlds apart from American ones, truly genuine. James believes we're missing out on the world, claims we grow too complacent. James has visited Paris 7 times. He knows the hidden gems that escape the eyes of tourists. I never saw it coming. She was transforming her very soul, not just her body. She forced herself to crave a life that wasn't hers, another soul. But I was so consumed with planning our anniversary trip that I failed to see she had already picked her travel companion. I lingered in my car, time slipping away, lost in thought after stepping out of my home, frozen in place, lost in the moment, only breath. The envelope containing their boarding passes lay untouched on my passenger seat. I had 2 copies of everything ready, as I always have. Contingencies for contingencies. Julia's text lit up my phone, sending a jolt through me. "Don't hold your breath. Flight could be postponed. Flight could be delayed." As if she were off to see her sister, not betraying us with another man on our anniversary trip. That's when it struck me. Not rage. Never betrayal. Not the suffocating loss of 14 years disappearing. Only clarity. Chilling realization of the man I had wed and the shadow I had turned into. I poured my heart into gestures, gifts, and grand romantic plans, desperate to win her love. Love was never a reward. It was a choice, a moment of giving or withholding. Julia had long since stopped caring, even before James entered her life. I arrived at the office and opened the trip folder on my computer. Each promise made, each confirmation number holds a story. Every detail meticulously crafted. Everything locked in through Horizon Global's business account, with me as the sole cardholder and only authorized user. The Paris hotel demanded photo ID that matched the reservation name. The private tour guides held my cell phone as the sole lifeline. My email confirmed the restaurant bookings, bound by a strict 24-hour cancellation policy. I crafted this journey just as I have shaped every other moment in my existence, with precision, completely, fortified with layers of security and control. Julia believed she was stealing my gift, handing it to another. She couldn't grasp that the gift had never belonged to her at all. I crafted it, financed it, and held the reins every step of the way. The phone shattered the silence. Unfamiliar call. Mr. Keller, you're speaking with Continental Airlines. We need to confirm your departure for Flight 447 to Paris. I need to change that reservation. 20 minutes later, I had changed my ticket to another flight. Same place, new flight, 3 hours delayed. The seats I had reserved for Julia and me now belonged to her and James. Yet my name lingered on every crucial document they required in Europe. I summoned my assistant. Jessica, please secure a companion ticket for me on Lufthansa Flight 892 to Rome, leaving tonight. Of course, Mr. Keller. Should I find out who the second passenger is? Catherine's voice echoed in my mind, a relentless reminder of my neglect. I felt the weight of her concern, sharp and piercing. She divorced her cheating husband 5 years ago and rose from the ashes of her past. Catherine Daniels, I called out. My sister, my heart. She must see Europe now. I left before Julia's plane soared into the sky. I was aware of the conclusion all along. 8 hours passed before the call arrived. In Rome's Fiumicino Airport, Catherine and I shared a bottle of Chianti, anticipation hanging thick as we awaited our flight to Florence. Julia's name flashed on my screen, but I let it ring out into silence. She called again, urgency lacing her voice. This time, I spoke up. Henry. Her voice trembled, filled with tension. A mistake has occurred with the hotel reservation. What mistake haunts you? The room's been canceled, they say. The concierge's rudeness is unbearable. The booking is void without the primary cardholder here. I savored the wine, its warmth igniting a rush of memories. Catherine's gaze pierced through me. Her eyebrows arched in disbelief, yet I maintained a calm facade. How odd. Did you send them the confirmation email? I had to show them the email. They claimed it was insignificant. Company policy intertwines with the urgency of fraud prevention. Henry, we're in the lobby with our bags, and they're looking at us like we're guilty of something. James, where is he? A breath held. He's desperately searching for another room, but it's all booked up. Tourists swarm everywhere. Travel costs a fortune, I remarked. Henry, this is serious. Call them. Fix this now. The figure stands at... I'm in Italy, I cut in. Stillness at that moment. What do you mean you're in Italy? It's Rome, after all. Ready to soar to Florence? Catherine and I are lost in a beautiful moment together. The silence deepened, heavy and suffocating. When she spoke again, her voice was unrecognizable. Down. Stronger restraint. You should be here? Why would I ever be here? It's our anniversary getaway, yet you remain absent. We aren't. Words eluded her grasp. Don't you dare take my sister on our anniversary trip. Your sister? Catherine is my sister, my heart's echo. This was never your journey, Julia. It belonged to me. I envisioned it. I invested in it. And now it's mine to claim. You monster. The words escaped in a sharp whisper. You planned our downfall. I swear, I didn't ruin a thing. I embarked on the journey I envisioned with someone eager to share those moments with me. James and I have arrived. Do you get it? We're lost. with no place to call home. James is undeniably clever. He'll find a way. He always does. The credit card has failed too. Which card will you choose? Your travel card haunts me. It's rejected at every turn. Oh, I exclaimed, as if a sudden memory struck me. This morning, I suspended that card. Safety first. Do you get it? Catherine beamed, her thumbs shooting up in wild enthusiasm. I struggled to suppress the amusement in my voice. Henry. Julia's voice carried a weight I hadn't felt in years. Desperate cries for mercy. This is insane. We'll figure this out when you're back. We desperately need help now. Us? Please. I need assistance. Just this once. Please. I need your help. For 14 years, I answered that call. The instant her voice trembled and she reached out, I would have shattered worlds to grant her wish. Resolved issues. Crises resolved. Transformed everything. In that airport, as travelers rushed by, each with their own tales and destinations, I felt a profound change within me. The urgency I once felt for her was extinguished, replaced by a chilling, sterile void. Julia, just 6 hours ago, you called me boring, unworthy of this journey. You claimed another man valued you beyond my reach. You swapped me for your personal trainer and thought I'd just go along with it. That can't be. I never intended. You felt it all. Now you're in Paris, lost in his world, exactly as you wished. Embrace it fully. I ended the call. Catherine lifted her wine glass, a silent toast to the moment, for sisters who recognize their brother's true worth. We clinked glasses, and for the first time in months, a genuine smile broke free. A text lit up my phone, buzzing with urgency. This is just the beginning. I erased it after just one glance. Catherine held her questions tight until we reached our hotel room, the Arno River glistening below, then unleashed them with a fervor that filled the air. How long has this torment lasted? As I unpacked the hastily packed suitcase, doubt gnawed at me. Had I packed enough shirts for a week in Italy? The betrayal? I'm lost. It could take months. Absolutely not. Not the betrayal. When did you start plotting this? I paused, the fabric slipping from my fingers, and met her gaze. Catherine was always the brilliant one. 3 years my junior, yet she had pierced through the facade of others since she was just 17. As Kevin returned home late, his feeble excuses igniting her suspicions, she wasted no time. Within a week, a private investigator was on the case. As the divorce papers hit the table, she held every financial card close, ready to fight for the home she loved. No plans? I insisted. This morning, I believed I was whisking my wife away for our anniversary trip. Henry. She perched on the bed's edge, her travel clothes clinging to her like a second skin. Hotel reservations don't just vanish, and credit cards don't freeze on their own. Booking your sister on a flight to Italy isn't a mistake. It's a choice that changes everything. Your soon-to-be ex-wife won't find a way in. Not with the documentation you have prepared. I took my seat opposite her. What do you mean? You've been ready for this moment far longer than you know. Unknowingly, you've erected barriers around your money, your work, your very existence, as if you sensed the storm approaching. She was undeniably right. In the shadows of the past year, I stealthily shifted our shared assets into business accounts, locking them behind the need for both our signatures to unlock. I updated all my passwords, secured my client database, and had my attorney review our prenuptial agreement. I convinced myself it was merely smart business, shielding the company from looming risks. Perhaps it was something deeper. Do you recall when you made me your emergency contact for the business accounts? Catherine pressed on. 8 months have passed. You claimed it was for emergencies, yet Julia was your wife. She was the obvious choice, yet fate had other plans. 8 months passed, just as Julia embarked on her journey with personal training. Part of you always knew, Catherine whispered softly. You sensed it, even if the details eluded you. Something was off. You were too afraid to confront the truth. The phone pierced the silence. Julia once more. I hung up without a second thought. There's more, I whispered. 3 weeks ago, I discovered she was charging things on our joint credit card that left me bewildered. Lavish meals at unfamiliar places, hotel rooms in downtown Seattle, while she claimed to be at the gym. Unfamiliar treasures from jewelry stores. You let it go? Just like that? I couldn't shake the thought. Then it hit me. If I faced her, she'd either deceive me or reveal everything. If she lied, I'd see through it, and everything would remain the same. If she confessed, everything we built would shatter. You orchestrated a trip that would compel her to reveal her true intentions. I couldn't shake it from my mind. Did I unwittingly lay a trap, presenting her with the ultimate choice between her husband and her trainer, fully aware of her decision? Perhaps, I confessed. I had to witness it firsthand, had to break free from the limbo of doubt and assurance. Catherine's head dipped in silent agreement. Now you understand. I've finally understood. My phone buzzed. Another message from Julia. I flipped it over, unread, heart racing. What comes next? Catherine inquired. I gazed out the window at the timeless city sprawling beneath us. We revel in Florence's beauty. The next morning, as Catherine wandered the Uffizi Gallery, I found myself in the hotel's business center, making long overdue phone calls that weighed heavily on my mind. Call my attorney. Now, Robert, it's Henry Keller. We need to talk about the divorce. My heart aches for you, Henry. Is this a friendly split? We're discussing betrayal, the exploitation of shared resources, and safeguarding my business. Understood. When you're set to file, gather your documents, financial records, proof of wrongdoing, and asset valuations. Months of collecting records reveal the truth. She's in Paris with her trainer, using what she believed was my money for their romantic escape. Outstanding. In Washington, fault doesn't matter. Yet betrayal can still shake the foundations of asset division, particularly when marital money fuels the affair. Another call. My business banker. Mr. Keller, what do you need from me? Remove my wife as an authorized user on all Horizon Global accounts, effective immediately. I need to update all access codes and implement extra verification for transactions exceeding $5,000. Should I report any attempts to access her accounts with her credentials? Absolutely, and please provide a report on any access attempts. Third call. My accountant. Janet, I require a thorough examination of all shared assets and any business expenditures that may have been misused for personal reasons in the last year. This feels heavy, Henry. It is everything. I'm filing for divorce, and I must uncover what my wife has been spending on her boyfriend. Fourth call. Locksmith. Desperation hangs in the air. Please change all the locks on my house in Capitol Hill today, if you can. Are you trapped outside, sir? Absolutely not. I'm blocking their way in. By lunch, I had ruthlessly severed every connection Julia had to my existence. Accounts locked down, Business shielded, doors fortified, lawyer on standby. It was like unraveling a tangled web, each thread pulled with care. Catherine discovered me on the hotel terrace, absorbed in my emails. "You look different," she said, sinking into the chair opposite me. "In what way?" "Brighter. As if a weight has been lifted, freeing your soul at last." She was undeniably right. For the first time in months, I felt a strange calm, free from thoughts of Julia's whereabouts or her hidden truths. I wasn't dissecting her emotions or unraveling her texts. I had no intention of grand gestures to reclaim what was already lost to another. My phone rang. Julia. For the 6th time today. This time, I spoke up. "Is anyone there?" "Henry, I was so scared. We have to talk now." "What is it about? This madness you're orchestrating, leaving us trapped in Paris, severing our funds, toying with our lives. Which games? You're fully aware of the games you're playing, this entire revenge fantasy you're living out." "Retribution?" I glanced at Catherine, her feigned indifference cutting through the silence. "Julia, here I am on a terrace in Florence, savoring exquisite wine with my sister as the sun sinks behind the Duomo. I seek no vengeance. The trip I envisioned is unfolding. With the one who shouldn't be? No," I whispered. "After so long, I'm finally with the one who feels just right." "Henry, the locks are changed," I said, my voice steady. "Accounts locked down, attorney on speed dial. When you return to Seattle, divorce papers will be there, waiting for you." "Are you really saying that?" "This is my utmost conviction." I ended the call and switched off my phone. Catherine lifted her wine glass, a silent toast to the moment, to fresh starts. 3 months later, I found myself in my attorney's office, the weight of the final divorce settlement hanging heavy in the air. Julia fought fiercely, insisting she was entitled to half of all I'd created in our marriage. Washington law left no room for doubt. When shared marital assets fueled a betrayal, the wronged partner could demand restitution. Each lavish dinner she racked up on our credit card with James felt like a betrayal. Each hotel room she reserved for their fleeting rendezvous. Every gift she'd purchased with our shared funds, a reminder of what we once had. Every dollar I invested in her training, only to discover it came with hidden costs. "The final calculation," Robert said, sliding a document across his desk, "reveals a staggering misuse of marital assets, $47,000 over just 8 months. $47,000. She poured more into an affair than most earn in a year, all while lamenting my lack of appreciation. What about her part of the house? Since you owned the property prior to the marriage and covered the mortgage solely with business income, her settlement will be minimal. Just enough for a security deposit on a new home. What will happen to James?" Robert's smile flickered, a spark in the shadows. Fascinating twist unfolding. Our investigator reveals that Mr. James Morrison is back with his wife and children in Portland. His European escapade with your ex-wife was merely that, an adventure. He always meant to stay with his family. Julia shattered our marriage for a man who never intended to be hers. She exchanged 14 years of security for a fleeting week in Paris with someone who viewed her as mere amusement. "The papers await your signature," Robert pressed on. "The divorce will be final in just 6 months." I signed my name on each page, a wave of relief washing over me. Half a year later, I returned to Italy. Not for revenge, closure, or a dramatic showdown, but because I had fallen deeply in love with Florence on that first trip with Catherine. I sold the house in Capitol Hill and bought a tiny apartment with a view of the Arno River. Horizon Global soared high. Released from the exhausting pursuit of an impossible approval, I channeled my energy into creating something truly significant. 3 new clients embraced our vision, a team united in our shared creation. On my terrace, lost in a book, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number shattered the calm. "I wish you joy." Julia, desperately seeking a spark of emotion. I erased the message, silence swallowing my thoughts, and returned to the pages of my book. In reality, I felt joy. Not the facade of joy I clung to in the last years of our marriage, desperately trying to persuade myself that everything was okay. True happiness is waking up free from the weight of others' moods, crises to resolve, or the need for grand gestures to gain approval, already earned countless times. Catherine came around every few months, each visit heavy with unspoken words. She began dating again, a widowed professor who made her feel truly heard. We'd share a meal at the quaint trattoria near my apartment, lost in conversation about books and business, savoring the profound relief of crafting a life driven by our own desires, not others' demands. Julia vanished from my life, leaving an ache that lingers still. She had moved to San Francisco, working at another gallery, piecing together the life she had discarded for a man who never meant to hold it. Living well can be the sweetest form of revenge. Thanks for watching this story on Addy Story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Stay tuned for more, and until next time, take care and keep living your own amazing stories.